Welcome to Be the Shift, episode 6. We are so thrilled to have Francesca Raffa with us today. And Francesca actually found me on Instagram, and then we have connected through some interviews. And what a great way to get to know the divine feminine as a mirror, as a witness, as a reflection, than to touch base and learn and listen to each other into being. So Francesca Raffa is a Reiki Master, meditation teacher, and healing herb practitioner, creating and holding space to connect, heal, and transform. From a young age, she has always been fascinated by the invisible worlds, this internal knowing that we are all divinely connected, derived from one source, but never understanding her purpose within it all. Until she set out on her soul's calling and immersed herself into the many different healings of counseling, herbalism, Reiki, color therapy, personal journeys, and spiritual guidance. She believes that the first step to healing the world starts with your own personal healing journey. Francesca, who has an Instagram called The Spiral Collective and spiralcollective.com, offers various self-exploration workshops, moon gatherings, tea ceremony, and meditation events, as well as one-on-one healing and guidance sessions to inspire, to heal, to explore and open the eyes of others to collectively come together in reconnecting humanity back to a state of love, peace, purpose, and authenticity. So, wow, you've really been on the creatrix, healer, teacher path, and it seems like that's the road you're walking. And you mentioned a little bit about starting from that internal journey, but what does Be the Shift mean to you?
Wow. Thank you so much for expressing all of that. That really touched me. Be the Shift to me means shifting our consciousness awareness from one state of reality to that of a higher state of consciousness or higher self state, so that we can begin to feel more fulfilled from living from a soul-led place in this wholeness, so that we are fully integrating all aspects of self to feel completely whole and to just be able to live that life that is fulfilling when we know we've set out on our soul mission, or beginning it, even just starting it is super exciting.
I'd really love to hear more about, the start of your journey. Like, what was that moment? Like, you kind of asked me, what was that breakthrough moment for me? What was that for you that led you to start leading a life of wholeness?
Yeah. It's funny because when I was younger, I was such a free spirit in my own way. I mean, I'm sure we all are when we're kids, obviously there's none of the fear, there's none of this understanding of society really, and we're just kind of living. And I was like this up until sort of the age of 16. And I know at 16, something very pivotal happened to me. And it's almost like I shifted from this state of love, joy, and, just this free state to a real fear-based mentality. And there was a lot going on in my family home at that time, which I think made me fall into this fear. It's almost like I absorbed so much fear from my parents. My grandfather was dying at the time. My mother couldn't handle it. My father was trying to handle my mother. They were going through this craziness, and I was in the middle of all of this. And so I think I started absorbing this fear, and it really, really changed me. I noticed how I started becoming a lot more controlling of things, and really losing myself. And I allowed myself to get lost in that fear as I was trying so hard to keep everything in my life together. Not really me, I was more trying to keep everything around me together, I could see it was falling apart. So I continued in this fear-based space. And even though I was studying something that was so free flowing and so creative, I was studying contemporary jewelry at the time. And I kept getting these creative blocks, and it was all because of this fear base. I decided that I wanted to go into counseling, and I actually did so. And it's funny because while I was studying counseling, it almost irritated me because because of the boxes that they would be putting people into these type of categories when you are because counseling was very much talk-based therapy, and that's great, but at the end of the day, in terms of the system-based counseling, you have to kind of integrate, separate, or box, and then put something together to be able to help this person, or whatever it was in terms of the medical formulation. And I just really didn't agree with that. I didn't understand it, and I actually saw so much judgment while I was studying it. So I actually just did lots of the theory, but I didn't actually go into physical practice. And I then completely got lost because I was put off by the whole thing, if I'm honest. I thought, oh gosh, if that's what that is, then I don't want to be a part of it because I don't believe in that. It doesn't go along with my values. I don't understand how we can be boxing people when in my true divinity, I believed that everything was connected and we were all just learning from each other, and I'm just a facet of you and vice versa. So I got back into my fear-based mentality again, and actually went into corporate because I thought that was the way forward for me. I got stuck in this society, especially being in London as well. It's such a money-driven city. And I thought I was a failure if I went along with anything that my soul was calling for. So I completely went against it. But when you have a soul calling so strong, I do believe that everyone at some point in their lives will answer that calling, no matter when it is. I mean, I was going into different teachings and different studies, and I was always the youngest person there. And that also in itself made me feel very inferior, because I thought, oh, maybe I'm too young to be doing this. If, everyone's like 50 plus and they're trying to do their self-discovery journey at that age, I was like, maybe I just need to experience the societal norm of life, getting the job, whatever, so that maybe once upon it, like whenever I get to that age, I can then do the journey. But it's like, no, my soul is calling me now, and I need to answer the calling now. So that led me up until about 2.5 years ago. So although I've always had this within me, I had very much been sort of on and off the light switch with it. Like I was just very much like, okay, I'll turn it on now when I want it, but okay, I'll keep it dormant depending on who I'm with or where I'm at. So up until 2.5 years ago, I literally was like, I cannot do this anymore. Nothing is fulfilling me. I am doing all of the supposedly right things that society tells you you're supposed to do. And yet, why am I still not happy? Why do I still not feel fulfilled? Why am I? And I just started questioning. And I think this is the main thing. What happens when you're on this kind of journey or starting to answer the calling is you do get the questions. You start questioning what life is or how you want to live. And you start looking at the way you're currently living and going, how long can I possibly do this for? Or where is it going? That's what I started looking at. I was like, okay, I'm in this job, but where am I going? I don't really care if I get promoted because I don't care about the job. I knew it was temporary. But okay, if I'm living in something that was so temporary, when does it get to the point where I take action to make something permanent? So I finally did. And honestly, I'm now fulfilled because I found wholeness. I found the reconnection to my higher self. And it is all about that, reconnecting with self.